Good evening, and welcome to this meeting of Westminster's Mayor and Common Council. The council meets here in City Hall on the second and fourth Mondays of every month. Please note the council meetings, although open to the public here at City Hall, are also available and streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center channel and website. Now we'll begin as we do every meeting with the pledge of the flag, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment to silence your cell phone or any other electronic devices you have that might disturb the meetings. Thank you. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that council will use are available online on the city's website. Copies of the agenda are available here in front of the room for those who are present at the meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We have minutes from the meeting of the Mayor and Common Council on February 12th, 2024, and minutes of the meeting of the Mayor and Common Council work session on February 20th. I'll note that I've already discussed with the clerk correction to the minutes from the meeting on the 12th, and he's going to take care of that. We have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Motion to approve the minutes as.
With a second?
Second.
With a motion by Mr. Dayhoff and a second by Mr. Poff. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. We have one item on the consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion for approval, Mr. President.
There's been a motion by Mr. Hoff to approve the consent calendar. May I have a second? The second by Mr. Cavacci. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it, and they are approved. Report from the mayor, Dr. Becker.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a quiet time of year and I was under the weather for a couple days, so I don't have anything to report this evening.
Thank you. We are glad you're feeling better and glad you're back. Thank you very much. Reports from council committees. Begin as we do with the liaison to the Arts Council, Mr. Dale.
Programmatically, the Arts Council is doing a really good job. The numbers are increasing precipitously. We're looking forward to a lot of good programming, a lot of good events coming up in the summer. It's bringing lots of folks in town. And I think this is all a very good report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good. Thank you. Economic and Community Development, Mr. Fox.
We had a meeting this afternoon, but nothing in particular to report at this time. Thanks.
All right, very good. Thank you. Finance Committee, we have no report. We have not had recently, but we're about to begin meeting on the budget, and we have plenty to share with you as that goes forward. Personnel Committee, also nothing to report there. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Cavacci.
Thank you, Mr. President. On February 10th, 2024, at approximately 11 p.m., Corporal Long located 3 individuals acting suspiciously in a vehicle on Leggy Road adjacent to the Len Stoller Chevy dealership. He subsequently identified these individuals. Security video located later from the dealership indicated that one of these individuals, Carmen J. Manley, 20 years old from Baltimore County, had just broken a window on a car at the dealership. Corporal Long subsequently applied for charges on Mr. Manley for malicious destruction of property. Corporal Long most likely prevented an auto theft with good police work. On February 22nd, Westminster police officers assisted Maryland State Police with apprehending 3 individuals attempting to enter a vehicle on the Len Stoller Dodge dealership. So tough time for the Len Stoller dealerships out there at 140, but our police department did a nice job of preventing both of those vehicles from being stolen. On February from the 19th to the 23rd, Lieutenant Reif and Lieutenant Donovan both attended the FBI Command Leadership Institute training down at Davidsonville. This Command Leadership Institute is a dynamic, intensive, and challenging 4.5-day program, specifically and uniquely designed to prepare law enforcement leaders for command level positions. The Command Leadership Institute focus is to provide real-life contemporary best practice strategies and techniques for those aspiring to command level assignments. The Command Institute facility members are passionate instructors who have an executive level enforcement and leadership experience. Command Leadership Institute students will engage in such topics as credibility, command discipline, liability, dealing with problem employees, and leading change within the organization. So I commend the chief for making sure that he's training his individuals to be our next leaders within the department. So good job there, and good job for Lieutenant Reif and Lieutenant Donovan for attending that and successfully completing. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. The Public Works Committee, Ms. Gilbert is not with us this evening. I don't have anything to share there. Recreation and Parks, also her committee, and she's on good. Mr. Kavachi, you're on the.
I am, but I don't have anything for it.
Very good, thank you. Technology Committee, Mr. Dayhoff.
And I don't have a report on that.
All right, thank you. Sorry to hear Mr. Moore isn't feeling well. Please give him our best wishes. Thank you. Council comments and discussion. It's an opportunity for council members to share any concerns they may have or thoughts they want to share on if they're not elsewhere on the agenda. Begin with Mr. Kavachi.
I don't have any things concern-wise. I just wanted to briefly comment, I wanted to compliment Ms. Imholz. She's had a lot on her plate here recently over the past couple of months. We've had a lot to do in terms of some major projects, along with a lot of money from, that had to be appropriately allocated and spent, which sounds like a good problem, but there's work that goes with that. Along with just a lot of other things. She's a little bit short-staffed, as are almost all companies and agencies across the country right now. Yet she's been keeping it together and doing a good job. And I just wanted to take a moment and thank her. I know she's been incredibly busy, and has worked really hard to make sure that the train stays on the track. So I just wanted to say thank you to her for that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. The sentiments we all share. Mr. Dayhoff.
No report, but I don't want to overlook the fact that how well the departmental operating reports are done. I always totally geek out, read them, and I really appreciate how well they're done. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Hoff.
The only thing I will share as Chair of Intergovernmental Relations is, of course, we're about halfway through session right now, and our priority this session is going well so far. So I just wanted to kind of update the group in general about that. I'm glad to answer any questions, after the meeting if you have them. But everything appears to be going along well.
Good. All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Hoff, and thank you for staying on top of that. We appreciate it. I have nothing else to share myself. Move on to ordinances and resolutions. We have one resolution before us this evening. Is for introduction of annexation resolution number 24-03, which would be annexation number 77. Covington Properties enlarging the corporate boundaries of the city of Westminster by annexing into the city certain property containing plus or minus 3.186 acres, contiguous to and adjoining the city's existing corporate boundaries, consisting of real property located at 535 Old Westminster Pike, Westminster, Maryland 21157. Also identified as tax account number 07-024304, map 0046, grid 0015, parcel 0017, and comprising plus or minus 2.5389 acres and plus or minus 0.6471 acres of right of way, containing a portion of Old Westminster Pike belonging to the Commissioners of Carroll County. Mr. Depot, going to explain the rest of that to us.
Thank you. So again, Covington Properties LLC, pursuant to the annotated code of Maryland, has petitioned the Mayor and Common Council of the City of Westminster to annex approximately 2.5389 acres at 535 Old Westminster Pike, which is owned by the petitioner and Zone C2 Commercial Medium Intensity District in Carroll County, into the corporate boundaries of the city. In addition, this annexation includes approximately .6471 acres of right-of-way owned by the Commissioners of Carroll County. Excuse me. This portion of Old Westminster Pike right-of-way extends approximately 995 feet from 535 Old Westminster Pike to the city boundary at the intersection of Willow Avenue and is zoned both C2 Commercial Medium Intensity District and R10,000 Residential District in Carroll County. As you may recall, the petitioner is requesting annexation agreement to be zoned B Business Zone for the portion comprising of the property owner's property at 535 Old Westminster Pike and a portion of the right-of-way of Old Westminster Pike abutting 535 and the adjacent lots 541, 543, and 547 Old Westminster Pike. And a portion of the right-of-way will be R10,000, and this is the remainder of Old Westminster Pike extending to the corporate boundaries. As you may recall, Covington Properties was previously before the Mayor and Common Council requesting approval of an annexation agreement to allow 189 gallons of water to be allocated to 535 Old Westminster Pike for a proposed endoscopy surgery center in an effort to keep the center from relocating. On June 12th, 2023, the Mayor and Common Council approved the annexation agreement, subject to the annexation before you tonight being submitted. And with that, staff recommends that the Mayor and Common Council introduce resolution number 2403 for annexation, allowing the annexation process to begin. And I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Depot. Is there any questions? Well, let's back to this motion. We have a motion for an introduction of the resolution.
Move, Mr. President.
I'll second. The motion by Mr. Kavachi and a second by Mr. Hall. All right, any further discussion or any questions for Mr. Depot?
Mr. President,
Mr.
just like to compliment staff. This was a long time getting us to this point. I think it's an important annexation. It's an important service that they provide out there with what they do. And I know it took a little while to get to where we're at, but it's nice to see this finally come full circle and get done. So I'm anxious and glad to be voting in favor of it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Kavachi. Anyone else wish to be heard? All right. No further comments. We'll move on to a vote. All those in favor of introduction, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, the ayes have it. And this will come back. I guess this goes to planning and zoning first. Is this one of those ones that comes to planning, goes to planning and zoning? Come straight back to us.
No, it'll come back to the Mayor and Common Council.
We'll look forward to that. All right. That concludes ordinances and resolutions. Next item is unfinished business. There is no unfinished business before the council. Does anybody have any unfinished business of which they are aware? There are none. Move on to new business. There is no new business on the agenda. Does anybody have any new business? None. Move on to departmental reports. Ms. Halls.
Thank you, sir. We are going to kick things off right away with the Recreation and Parks Department, because we have a very exciting event coming our way in the very near future. Ms. Gruber.
Good evening. Yes, thank you, Ms. Imhoff. We open our 2024 event season proudly with the Celtic Canter scheduled for March 9th. I'd like to remind everyone who's listening that if you are a runner, please register for the 5K race that starts at 9 a.m. There is a leprechaun chase for children, which is a 1-mile race route that follows at 10 a.m. And of course, all of you are familiar with our very popular 0.5K for those of you who maybe don't want to run as far as any of those other distances. So registration is still open for all of those events. We do have 816 people registered as of today. And to benchmark that against this time last year, we are ahead by 106 registered runners for this event. So we certainly will take more interested athletes into this event. If you're not a runner, we have plenty of other activities going on. Simultaneously, our Irish Festival is occurring downtown on Main Street from Route 27 to Longwell Avenue. We have a huge assortment of Irish and Celtic themed vendors, anywhere from wares to food to organizations such as the Irish Wolfhounds will be there with some really amazing looking dogs to pet. So we've got a lot of things happening. Our pub crawl starts at 12 noon, free trolley transportation around to all of our very fine eateries and establishments. And of course, we have 2 seatings for a whiskey tasting event that gives you an idea of how to pair whiskey and the different flavors that you taste and different things like that. So plenty going on. Visit our website, celticcantor.org, and we hope to see you next Saturday on on Main Street. That concludes my report unless you have questions.
Hearing no questions, or do I interrupt somebody?
Oh, it really is next Saturday.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
No,
That's what we said too.
It's not this Saturday.
It's not.
well, this Saturday is a fact.
Okay.
The following.
And that's the following Saturday. That's still much more quickly than I had thought.
I think you can be up to speed to do your 25K right now.
I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna practice. I think I'll practice more to be down the steps.
I want to thank the Recreation and Parks Department for their hard work. This is a big event to put together. They all are, but this kicks off the season. I also want to thank the Public Works Department. They've been assisting, as always, the Recreation and Parks Department to get ready for this event. Just a short report for the Public Works Department as well. We've installed 10 of the 14 crosswalks that are on Main Street and Pennsylvania Avenue now. We'll be finished with those probably next week, by the end of next week. So those look great. I hope you've had a chance to take a look at them. We're very excited for that. The IT director is out, as Mr. President indicated, so there's no report for IT. We will move on to the housing department. Mr. Brown.
Good evening. Just an update on our efforts to purge our waiting lists. We have, let's see, this week and the next week, the end of next week, that'll be the last shot for people. But I'm real pleased at the rate of response we're getting. A lot of people have responded much better than they did the year before. So I think the word got out and people are really calling in and bringing their materials in. So I think at the end of the day, we'll have a good, credible listen. So after that, then I'll update the mayor and the council on what we can with that. But that's all I have today.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Are there any questions for the housing department?
I have a comment, Mr. President.
Yeah.
I really appreciate all the work you're doing. We're just getting a lot of really positive feedback. And that's really good stuff. Our housing program is really important. You're doing a great job with it. I appreciate it. I get weekly updates. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the Planning Community Development Department. Mr. Depot.
Thank you and good evening. On the 15th, the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed and approved the 2023 City of Westminster Planning Annual Report. This is consolidated with the other 7 municipalities by Carroll County and eventually sent to the Maryland Department of Planning. They also held a meeting to introduce local map amendment LMA 2302, amending the zoning map to rezone parcel F1B north of 842 Littletown Pike and from the IR zone to the B business zone. This is just beginning the process. We'll go back to the Planning Commission for public hearing. They also discuss amended the Planning and Zoning Commission's policies and procedures regarding public input, whereby public can only comment for items on the agenda for that night. There are no agenda items for March 5th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, or March 6th. The Historic District Commission is scheduled to meet. However, the agenda has not been set. The next Downtown Business Association meeting is scheduled for March 4th at 3 p.m. at Exploration Commons, 50 East Main Street. And that completes my report. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Depot. Are there any questions for the Planning Department? Or none, we'll move on to the Finance Department. Ms. Rogers.
Thank you, Ms. Impulse. Good evening. I do not have a report tonight, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have for finance.
Do not assume that that's because finance is not doing anything right now.
Maybe because they're doing so much.
Quite the opposite, quite the opposite. Are there any questions for Ms. Rogers? Hearing none, we will round things out as we always do with the Police Department. Chief Ledwell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As a quick follow-up to the 2 incidents that we were successful on Maryland State Police at the Lens Solar dealerships. On one of the vehicles, we actually located a switch where when you activated the switch, it covered the rear tag on the vehicle. And then in the other one, they had a device that reads the vehicle code and duplicates the key. So then they can start the car just using the push button. None of the individuals are from around here. It's not even a regional issue. It's a nationwide issue that seems to be going on. One of the suspects was from New Jersey. Another was from Virginia, and some were from the Baltimore area. Don't know how they get together, but they were. So it's just something that we're keeping an eye on, along with our neighboring agencies. We have two new hires who start tomorrow. One is a certified Maryland police officer. So he's scheduled to be sworn in on Friday. And the other is the entry-level police recruit who will start in the Maryland Police and Training Commission Police Academy on March the 5th. That's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the Commissioner? That concludes the departmental reports, Mr. President.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Halls. So we will move on now to the final item on our agenda, which is citizen comments. This is where we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issues pertaining to tonight's agenda or any other city issue. For citizens not attending the public meetings, we invite you to send us your comments or concerns via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All comments received by email will be shared with the mayor and council. Commenters should include their address and phone number with their comments. We'll now invite comments from anybody who is present this evening. Does anyone tonight wishes to be heard? If so, please give us your name and address for the record.
Let me just look at you two guys.
Yeah, we just got no pressure.
Very good. All right. Hearing no one, we will close the meeting. That concludes our agenda and the meeting. And with that, without objection, we are. 22 minutes.